Hey, and welcome to VFX Tutors. I'm Josh, and we're still modelling this flamethrower. We're getting very close to actual finishing the main body of it. We just need to go around and do some of these smaller bits. So if you're just coming across these videos now, you can watch the whole process in the playlist, starting from building the scan and stuff like that. But if you're just joining now, we're kind of nearing the end, so but it still might be useful. So we've done most of this. There are still some bits that we probably still need to sort of like adjust when we do the sort of camera sort of check pass. But looking at this, the only thing that we're kind of missing now is obviously we don't have these because we've already done them on that side, and when we UV it, we'll just duplicate them across. So I'm just comparing, just seeing if anything's been missed. Oh, I think the only bits from the actual rifle, obviously we still need to do the bipod, is probably just this bit here. And I think this might be the last small detail of the actual rifle part. So what I will do is, previously on the other side, it wasn't, maybe we haven't broken the symmetry as of yet for this. So what we'll do the same thing. And we will, because obviously this has got to be flat. We can duplicate, just for now, let's duplicate that washer up there, just so we know the space. Obviously we kind of need to, we're quite relaxed with how this worked before because we didn't see it, but now we can sort of see bits of it. And you can probably spend a little bit more time making this a bit more perfect if you want. I'm kind of like not going to see it, so not hugely stressed out by it if we don't see it, but we might see that. Cool, and I did soft select that because that's kind of a rough way of doing it, but I always do prefer. It's possibly that we actually might need to add a bit more thickness on this just in case, but we will have a think about that later. So I'm just going to create a lattice, and say lattice is basically just a very controlled soft select, because I'm putting loads of subdivisions in here, but I only want to affect this bit. And you can do that with soft select, for sure. I don't know, maybe I'm just being weird, but I don't know, I just sometimes prefer lattice because just less things to select, because now I can just kind of make that fit. See if I'm gonna stretch. I'm only gonna do it the height for now. So it's all kind of wobbly. But and I think that I'm changing the width. I want to make sure that I get the entire side of it, so I don't. So I don't stretch it oddly. Quite surprised I didn't select anything down there, but cool. I'm just gonna take history on that, probably. Just tidy that up. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe it's becoming more very likely that we will have to sort of maybe adjust the thickness if we don't see it, but for now, because we're heavily going on how the scan is, and there might be some sort of thickness issues. That's why we sort of still need to do a pass where we do check against the camera and the reference. So like I said, this is not like, this is definitely more of a re-topology. Well, we're still modeling it, I guess. It's more, we've got a very accurate blocking stage done. And so if you were just like modeling like something random that you were just making up as you go along, take on, it's just a lot quicker because you don't have, when you're matching to reference, that's the thing that takes the longest, basically. So I can kind of see that kind of pushes us in, so maybe we still have to do some readjustment. Let's get this washer in place. Generally the textures will be pretty accurate, but I'd say the mesh might be a bit ropey in places. But I'm not actually, I'm just going to do this bit first, basically. And I'm just going to delete that. Probably should have made the pin first, but I will. I'd like to say I learn from my mistakes, but sometimes I don't. I'm just going to rigging, just going to point constrain that because I can't be bothered to move it. I should be bang in the center. I think that's about right. So kind of also need to make sure that we are. I've got to create a hole in here as well. You can kind of see it goes in around that. Probably do that with a spline. But I'm just going to go for it with a cylinder. I'm just going to select all these just so I can isolate them. And just have my wireframe all shaded on so I can see it a bit easier. Maybe better if I add the whole like that, maybe. Just going to duplicate that. I'm going to hide the original so it keeps it. So I am going to select this. You can use a, probably get away with using a Boolean. Maybe let's try this first. -0.01. Cool. So maybe something like all of that. Oh no, because I stupidly did not make this. So it needs to be a little bit. The reason why I did that is because we're now an even number and this edge goes through to the other side. And it just makes things a lot easier to not have to think about fixing stuff. Now obviously we could use symmetry, or we could just do them at the same time. It's a fairly smallish thing, so I'm not hugely bothered. So we want to make sure that we slide that along the normal so we don't break any of this. So it slides on top of the poly. Can't snap. Ooh. We can still leave it on normal because that should actually still be fine. Cool. So now we have our back to object. We just delete those. Bridge. Cool, so now we've made the hole in that. It's kind of a... if I do... So, I guess for you guys, probably worth just like checking the reference images, but as you have them all in here from the scan, I don't think I was just checking whether if that was actually a rounded top or not, and it's not. So it's one of the sort of traps you can fall into with very small pieces on a scan, whether if it's a flat top or not. It's actually kind of tapered up. Just going to fill that hole. And you can pretty much do this any way you want. To not have the triangles, but it's kind of how I like to do it. And probably could have left that. To save on poly, but I'm not sure it massively matters at this point. Whoops, I seem to have deleted the inside. So I don't want to add a supporting edge in there. Cool, so we kind of done that. Let's try and match the sort of layout of so you probably quite easily do this with a spline, but as we're here and we kind of already done it this way, let's so it's best just not to overcomplicate things if they don't need to be. Like I said, I always find it's just whatever makes it easier for you. There are a million ways. I wouldn't say a million ways, but there are a lot of ways to do the same sort of thing. So let's find don't get too hung up about doing things a very particular way. Whatever way that works for you. Obviously there are quicker ways and more manual ways. I would definitely say mine is definitely a more of a manual way, but that's just It's just habit, I think. And obviously there are a lot of super intelligent people that'll be like, why are you doing it like that? Just do it like this. It's much faster. I'm more of a brute force kind of guy. Just model it and get it done. Don't know why I did that. Probably best just put it like that. Yep. Could have probably quite easily just done this with a spline and extruded it along like we've done in previous ones, but maybe I just don't want this bit to end. But no, the thing you got to kind of see about this is that, yeah, it looks like I've done a lot of tutorials on this. The grand sort of outlook on it is, when you add all those hours together, it's probably only like a couple of days work. And with, obviously it could be a lot faster if I wasn't chatting over the top of it. But that's one sort of thing that you've got to really take into mind, is that, I say it a lot, but this is more of a realistic job outcome, I would say. Unless you literally are a wizard and you can do things in 10 minutes, like those 10-minute tutorials, without all the problem solving and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of ignore the scan just for this moment. Because I don't really believe... Well, it might be completely wrong. But... it's easier to do it this way at the moment. And have it wrong and adjust instead of having it right, then thinking I should adjust it, then checking later, then realising I was right in the first place. So even though it kind of looks wrong at the moment, yeah, we're coming close to finishing this. Well, this part, you would have thought it spent 30 minutes on a little spindly thing like this. Obviously we probably have some questionable lumps in that bit, but I'm actually not that bothered, if I'm going to be honest, because hopefully we don't see it so much. And what I'm just doing, I'm just looking around. The main thing that I was concerned about was because previously we just did that to save ourselves a lot of geometry. I think if we were ever seeing in there, we'd have to be very specifically, we'd have to be right in there. So I think it'd probably be okay. So 30 minutes in, so I think we've actually done for the last modelling, so we'll probably do just a quick check round on this bit, because I know that was a bit funky last time. So. So, fantastic, our sort of access is off, which is lovely. Probably easier actually if I nope. I guess we just have to do it the hard way. Have to double check that. It kind of looks like something's coming through, but it's actually not helping. No. So this is all kind of welded into place, which makes it a little bit more trickier to sort of deal with, but also really not gonna see it. Probably best just tucking it. Definitely do not want to see that in there though. Let's undo that. I'm not keen on how that's reacted. Cool. So actually there is one more thing that we do need to do in here. There is a split pin. So what we can do is get this roughly to the correct size. That's enough. What we want to delete that. I don't actually need to do that for now. Just the bottom one will be alright. Hopefully I've done this correct. Sure as doesn't feel like it. Get rid of that. Don't need it. Cool. So that's our bottom. Cool. So, if you know what a split pin is, it's kind of like a hairpin that kind of splits around. So, we'll just use this as a reference, so I'll make it round. I know you probably could just extrude it round or do something fancy, but isolate that and turn my wireframe sheet on just so I can see it. Like I said, this is just the guide so I can just get it around. roundish. May have to adjust it somewhat. I'm just kind of matching it every two. Once I have extruded that, I'll just match up that actual angle of it. It's actually wrong because I need to. I was literally matching it, which I don't actually want to do. I want to. Let's just go around and clean these edges up. It's sometimes easier just to, once you've made one of these, it's kind of like you have kind of split pins for life. There's no need to model ones every time. Just combine. Cool. Split pin. Nothing amazing. But oh, let's not delete that. Just delete that. Cool, so let's just harden up these edges. Don't want those hardened. See what that looks like. Do you need that actually? Cool, so if we just want to add a supporting edge in here, we also need to add in bits where it can be kinked and bent. Cool. So, not that. We go to wireframe and shade it off. And we can kind of just bring that down. Let's duplicate that over there. I don't think this actually had in the actual model, it didn't actually have one in it, but we'll just put one there anyway. Cool. So I think we're pretty much done with the actual main body of the rifle. We'll do the bipod next, but yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's been quite a long sort of range of tutorials, but yeah, don't forget that like and subscribe. It really does help, and it makes me smile. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.